Welcome to my next video. I'll be making a watercolor and handwritten card today, similar to a lot of the cards that you see on my Etsy shop, which I will link down below. And I start off with, that's Canson's watercolor paper cut to 5.5 wide to 4.25 inches. That is 3M painter's tape. And I just, I taped the sides down to prevent some warping. I didn't do this on the last video, on the last card, just because I was doing a different technique, but I think you can do this with a lot of the other techniques. You could probably do it with the video that I did last time, which I'll link down below, which was my first video. And here I am, just taping the sides up, and then there it is. There's the last piece. I usually reuse those pieces afterwards. I reuse them until they're no longer sticky. I just don't like to throw them out after the first try. I'm just there grabbing my paint. Those are Artist Loft Watercolor paints. Those are like the $4 or $5 palettes that you can find at Michael's. I love that palette. Every color is so pigmented. And it's just a simple paintbrush that I also bought at Michael's. Now, I am never going to claim to be this watercolor expert. I am not a painter by any means. I just put the paint on the paper and, wish for the best. And so it's kind of half dry, half wet. And I just kind of just scribble. I mean, I'm probably not even holding the paintbrush right. I'm probably ruining my paintbrush bristles by the way I'm using it. But like I said, I'm not an expert at all. So I just kind of dab the paper with the paint. I don't want it to really saturate the paper with wet paint. And I don't want it to look too colored, I guess, too painted. I want it to look kind of rough. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I like what I see. I guess I should have sped this part up. You probably don't need to see this in real time. I can probably speed this up for next time. But like I said in the previous video, I'm still learning. And here I am adding a pinkish color to it. I like to do two tones, maybe 3 sometimes, depending on the colors I'm using. But here I'm just using that light purpley lilac and a pink, and just kind of trying not to let the colors blend together too much, so you can see a difference and a contrast in the two colors. And I just kind of dab and play around until I like what I see, until I feel like there's an even representation of the color all around, and just keep going until it looks good. And yeah, I'm definitely going to speed this up. Like I said, I'm still learning. Let's see. I think that I'm done for the time being, and then I'm just going to let that dry. See, look, that's my signal for letting it dry. And so I'm back, and it's dry. I actually heat set it while I did it off camera so that it wasn't too tedious. So now I'm getting my Tombow Fudenosuke calligraphy pen. That, I believe, is the soft tip. I found that the soft tip pen works better on the watercolor paper. It tends to glide more. The hard tip tends to get stuck in the grooves because the watercolor paper is not very smooth. So I like the soft tip. And another disclaimer is I'm not an expert letterer. I've just learned and started lettering probably a few months ago, maybe June of this year. I've always loved watching people on YouTube and Instagram write. And I've always had pretty decent handwriting, but never really like tried to work on my brush lettering and my modern calligraphy until recently. So it's not perfect, and it's not like what you see a lot of other YouTubers or a lot of Instagram people do, but you know what, it's my writing and I'm still proud of it. I know it's a learning process, and I know I'm going to get better and I'm going to get more comfortable, and I'm going to start really finding my style. But I do like my writing now. It's been a lot better from when I first started doing this. So what I am writing here is "May your dreams come true." And there I am writing "true." And I realized, I was like, oh my goodness, it's so not centered, because I'm basically freehanding it. I don't have any pencil marks or anything to kind of let me know where to put the words and stuff. So I just wing it. And so since it was a little off center, I decided to put some stars at the end to kind of even out the spacing and the alignment. And that's pretty much all that is for the card front. And I like it. It's handmade. It's not perfect, but it's cute. I love the colors. I love the way the writing kind of pops out from the colors. And so here I am peeling the tape off, and you can see that the paper has not warped very much. I think a lot of that also has to do with the fact that the color's really only in the center of the paper, so the edges never really had a chance to curl up or anything. So there's the card base. That is an 8.5 by 11 sheet cut in half and then folded in half again. I just have a whole stack of those like in my drawer. And then I'm just going to take my favorite score tape, the Sukwang. You can find it in a lot of online craft stores. Some of the local craft stores have them. That is my favorite tape. It sticks to everything. It's a very strong adhesive, so I love it. And it works really well with watercolor paint paper, and to keep it really stuck. So I'm just taping it on the edges, and I love that it's just, you just tear it. You can just tear it without, using scissors and ruining your scissors, getting adhesive on your scissors. You just gotta rip it. And the one thing I kind of don't like about that tape is that extra, the release paper. I tend to just like throw it off to the side until I have like a big stack on my desk, and then I have to toss it in the trash. And sometimes I have all those little pieces of release paper all over the carpet, and my kids get into it. It's a mess. And so here I am just pasting it onto the card base. And there's the finished card. Super simple and super handmade. And here are some final pictures, and this card is available in my Etsy shop, which I will link down below. Please subscribe, thumbs up, and like.